Thanks. Boy, it's nice to have Jason Kafori back in town to to organize these things. While you're all being inspired by Ralph this evening, you may well ask, what exactly can I do to make a difference? Well, first, you can join the organizations that are presenting information out in the lobby, like Alliance for Democracy, Super, Sierra Club, Oregon Conservancy Foundation, the Portland Alliance, and the International Socialist Organization. All of them pursue worthy causes and are worthy of your membership. But second, you can also join or become a leader in the Progressive Party of Oregon and give voters more choices on the ballot. You may ask, why do we need more choices? Well, because sometimes the Democrats and the Republicans are both wrong. And the flyer we handed out shows on the backside a table indicating many instances in which they are both wrong. But just one example here in Oregon. In 2006, Oregon voters adopted Measure 47, which imposed just about the most strict campaign finance reform limits of any state in the United States. But the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, who are both Democrats, have refused to enforce this law. Even though it has not been held, no part of it, no limits have been held unconstitutional by any court. They've just taken it upon themselves to not enforce it. We're in court right now to require them to do their duties to enforce the law. And thanks to them, in Oregon now, more money is spent per voter on political campaigns than in any other state, with the exception of New Jersey. So we're number 2. It now costs typically $700,000 to win a contested race for the Oregon Senate. Typically now costs over $300,000 to win a contested race for the Oregon House. And the last time last governor's race, as I recall, they collectively spent $16 million running for governor. And of course, the money comes mainly from corporations, big businesses, and of course, big unions. But more than about 70% of it comes from corporations and business interests. One more example, if I might, since it's possible that Ralph is getting lost. In 1978, Oregon voters adopted Measure 9, which prohibits utilities from making profits and charging ratepayers for profits on plants that don't work, like plants that have broken down and are abandoned. In 1995, nevertheless, the Oregon Public Utility Commission granted Portland General Electric permission to charge ratepayers $33 million a year in profit on the dead Trojan nuclear plant. That's in addition to repaying PGE for all of its investment in Trojan and paying all of the costs of decommissioning and waste disposal for Trojan, an additional $33 million a year in profits. So we appealed that decision to the Oregon Court of Appeals and won in 1998. But before the Oregon Supreme Court decided to review the case, in 1999, Portland General Electric, which had recently been purchased by Enron, went to the legislature and got the legislature to enact overwhelmingly, with overwhelming votes from both the Democrats and Republicans, a bill to repeal Ballot Measure 9 of 1978 and allow utilities to charge ratepayers for profits on dead plants. And, of course, profits on the plants that they build to replace the dead plants, and profits on the plants that they build to replace the plants that they built and then died. You get it. They could just earn infinite profits by continuing to build plants that prematurely conk out. Well, we asked then Governor Kitzhaber to veto that bill, and he immediately signed it. So Utility Reform Project, Augsburg, and the Citizens Utility Board went out and gathered 60,000 signatures in 90 days to refer the bill to the ballot. That became Measure 90 of the year 2000. And the voters of Oregon killed the bill by a vote of over 88%. Nevertheless, now with interest, Portland General Electric owes us back $800 million in profits on Trojan. We were able to get only an order for a $33 million refund about a year and a half ago. So again, we're appealing it in court, even though we've won twice in the Court of Appeals and twice in the Oregon Supreme Court. So the struggle apparently never ends. We need a party that doesn't genuflect to mighty corporations. And everyone here can help lead the Progressive Party of Oregon. You can become chair of an issues caucus. You can become the chair of a district caucus. You can create your own caucus and become the chair of it. You can run for office. In addition to being able to place its own candidates on the ballot, the Progressive Party will also, well, there's a new law. There's a new law so that any candidate who is nominated by more than one party, beginning in this election year, can now list on the ballot the names of up to 3 parties that have nominated that candidate. So instead of seeing just, one party for each candidate, one candidate can be the joint candidate on the ballot of, let's say, the Pacific Green Party and the Progressive Party, or the Libertarian Party and the Constitution Party. So we can not only run our own candidates, but we can also have the Democrats, Republicans, and others compete for the progressive label on the ballot. That is, we can choose which Democrats to label progressive on the ballot, and we can even choose maybe a couple of Republicans to label as progressive on the ballot, and we can certainly choose to label candidates who have been nominated by the Green Party as progressive on the ballot. Now, in order to put candidates on this November ballot, we need about 1,000 more registered voters by the 1st of August. We'll hand out voter registration cards later tonight for those of you who don't have them. And here's what they look like. It's really, and I'm sure everyone in this room is registered, but you have to change your registration in order to be a member of the Progressive Party. It's very simple. All you need to do is fill in your name, address, choose a political party by filling in the oval, and putting in either your Oregon driver's license number or the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Now, in the instructions, there's a bunch of things about sending a copy of a paycheck stub and a bank statement and a utility bill, or a government document and all that sort of thing. You don't need to do any of that unless you don't have an Oregon driver's license and you don't have a Social Security number. So then you do have to provide some sort of valid photo identification or a utility bill with your name on it or that sort of thing. So it's really pretty simple.
You've been listening to the first 8 minutes of a program featuring consumer advocate, former presidential candidate, and author Ralph Nader, speaking at a benefit for the Oregon Progressive Party. The topic for the lecture is Obama So Far, a New Strategy for Progressives. Preceding Ralph Nader at the podium was Oregon Progressive Party Press Secretary Dan Meek. This presentation is available in full at the Vimeo Home for Videos website at vimeo.com. Search on keywords Nader and PDX Justice. You can also link to this program via the PDX Justice Media Productions website at pdxjustice.org. This program was produced by PDX Justice Media Productions of Portland, Oregon. To find out more about our work and to access our growing library of free on-demand streaming video and audio programs, please visit our website at pdxjustice.org and write to us with your questions and comments at pdxjustice@riseup.net. Many of our programs are available on DVD or Blu-ray video discs. Please write to us for ordering information. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for supporting listener-sponsored radio, public access cable television, net neutrality, independent bookstores, and all forms of grassroots, democratic community media.